What's going on, everybody? Verdi here with another Genshin Impact video. Today we're going to talk about the 5 weapons that you can choose from when you reach Battle Pass level 30. I'm going to talk about each weapon individually, and then I'm going to choose a weapon at the end of the video and explain why I chose what I chose. Now, as you see here, I'm Battle Pass level 38, and I still haven't chosen my weapon. And the reason for that is I've kind of been struggling with what to choose from because all of the weapons are really good. This is the reason why I'm making this video. So if you guys find this video helpful in any way, please leave a like and a subscribe. So as I was saying, at level 30, these 5 weapons become available and you can only choose one of them. They're all very good. They all have crit rate as a secondary stat, which makes them very good. So let's talk about the sword. The black sword, crit rate 6% base, 42 attack. Increases damage dealt by normal and charged attacks by 20%. Additionally, regenerates 60% of attack as hit points for normal and charged attack score a crit hit. Now, this is very good. Pretty much increases your normal and charged attack damage by 20%, and it also has crit rate. I'm assuming this is going to go to 20% or even higher when it's fully upgraded. So for any main DPS like Kaya, the Traveler, Ketching, Bennett, what's the water guy, Xin something, all of those characters, this sword will be really good at if you don't have anything else. Now, on Jean and Chi-Chi, I feel like this sword will be kind of wasted because they're more of a support unit and you're really trying to stack attack rather than critical rate because they're really just healers. But Jean can be a main DPS as well if you want to build it that way. So honestly, this sword could be good for Jean as well. The Great Sword. Every 4 seconds a character is on the field, they will deal 6% more damage and take 3% more damage. This effect has a maximum of 5 stacks and will not be reset if the character leaves the field, but will be reduced by 1 stack when the character takes damage. So this is going to be a high risk, high reward type of deal. If you are very good at the game and you don't take any damage, this sword is probably on par with the legendary sword that has attack percentage on it that everyone uses on Diluc. Now, if you have Diluc or Chongyun or Beidou, or honestly even Noelle, and you use them as your main DPS, this is probably one of the best great swords in the game in my opinion. Solar Pearl. Normal attack hits increase elemental skill, elemental burst damage by 20% for 6 seconds. Likewise, elemental skill or elemental burst hits increase normal attack damage by 20% for 6 seconds. So this is an amazing weapon for Mona or Ningguang. If you do not have a legendary book and you want to main Mona or Ningguang, or you just want to use them and do a lot of damage with them, this is 100% the weapon for you. This weapon is top tier when it comes to Catalyst of books. And honestly, all of these weapons are pretty much on par with legendary weapons because crit rate is just amazing, especially early game when you're trying to build your character's damage. You're going to be looking for more crit rate than anything to try to increase that damage. So these weapons are all very good, as I mentioned before. Now the bow, same thing, crit rate, base attack 42. Now this is a very cool passive. You pretty much get a mini Venti ult every time, or you have a chance, 50% chance to generate a cyclone every time you attack or aim shot. Even though this effect is really cool and the crit rate is really nice, I feel like there are better purple bows out there. The spear, Deathmatch, 8% crit rate, so it has the highest starting crit rate out of all the weapons. And its passive is amazing. If there are at least 2 enemies nearby, attack is increased by 16% and defense is increased by 16%. So it means if you're around a bunch of enemies, you're going to be tankier and be doing more damage. And if there are less than 2 enemies nearby, attack is increased by 24%. So you're just going to be doing more damage if there's just 1 person nearby. It's probably on par or very close to the legendary pole arms that are available. So before I rate these weapons, know that all of these weapons are absolutely amazing, and the choice that you make is going to depend on the things that you have on your account. Now, at number 5, or the worst weapon, in my opinion, as you will call it, would be the bow. The reason for that is the passive is worse than all of the other weapons, and everything else is the same. So honestly, in my opinion, it just has the worst passive, or the worst potential for damage, and I feel like with the crit rate bow, you're going to be going for white damage. At number 4, we have the sword. And the reason for that is the Solar Pearl is number 3. Solar Pearl increases your elemental skill, elemental burst damage, and also increases your normal attack damage, to where the sword only increases your normal and charge attack damage. Even though this weapon has utility, I feel like all of these weapons are going to be used to smack stuff. So you want as much damage as you possibly can, and I feel like the Solar Pearl will give you a little bit more damage than the Black Sword will. At number 2, we have the Polearm. The reason why I put the Polearm at number 2 is because it does start with the highest amount of crit rate, and I feel like the 24% attack is very, very good for scaling for regular attacks and abilities, and this is why this weapon, in my opinion, is the second best choice. And obviously at number 1, we have the Greatsword, or the Claymore. I feel like this passive is absolutely insane. 30% increased damage overall is absolutely insane, and I feel like that anyone who has a little bit of skill will be able to utilize this Greatsword to its maximum potential. Like I said, if you are maining any of the Greatsword users and you like to smack stuff with them, and you do not have the legendary sword with attack percentage on it, this is 100% the sword that you should go for. Okay, so these are my weapons, and I want to explain to you guys why I'm going to choose what I'm going to choose, because it's not going to be the Greatsword, right? The Greatsword, I said, is the best, but I have the Rain Slasher and I use Chung Yun. Now, when I use him, they're either Hydra enemies or I have them affected by Electro, so I have 24% increased damage there, and I have a more likely chance to get dupes for this than I have the Battle Pass weapon. Most of the time, Chung Yun's attacks are blue, so I think that I'm going to get a lot of elemental reactions with him, and I really want to try to make this Greatsword work. So I'm going to go ahead and use this Greatsword. Now, the Polearm. I really like Xiangling, and most of her damage, or regular damage, is white. And I've already kind of invested into this Polearm, and because it's a craftable Polearm, I'm going to be able to refine it, hopefully, a lot easier than I'm going to be able to the Battle Pass weapon, because I think that the Battle Pass comes back and it's 2 months, and it takes you 2 months to complete it. And let's say the same weapons are available, it's going to take a really long time to max those weapons out. I really like this weapon. It has physical damage bonus, which is good for Xiangling, and normal and charge attacks deal an additional 25% attack damage for 5 seconds after picking up an elemental orb particle. And honestly, you're always picking up elemental orb particles, so this weapon is really, really good. I also have the Skyward Spine energy recharge, which I'm planning on using actually for Xiangling, seeing as how I don't really smack stuff with her that often. I kind of just use the bear, I use the ult, and then I switch to somebody else. Okay, so when it comes to books and catalysts, I have a Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds. It has crit rate already on it, and this passive is really, really good. So I'm using this currently on Ningguang, and this is probably what I'm going to keep on using. And if I don't like that one, I'm going to use this one. So I have 2 legendary weapons for catalysts already, so there's no point in me choosing the catalysts. The bow, I pretty much main Venti. I really like this bow. I think this passive is insane. I'm going to keep on using this bow, and as the bow being the worst of the choices, I'm not going to choose the bow. So the choice for me is going to be the sword, because I have the Aquila Favonia, but I'm going to use this on Jean, most likely, or because the attack increase maybe on Chi-Chi, but most likely on Jean. Besides that, the swords that are available, Sacrificial Sword, Energy Recharge, this is for a support character, so this is what I'm currently using on Chi-Chi. And then, once again, Favonia's bow, Favonia's sword with the Energy Recharge, that's once again, in my opinion, a support weapon. I really want to build catching for damage, so I'm going to go ahead and choose the sword. Let's go in here. Like this, the black sword, and claim. Perfect. So yeah, I'm going to put this sword on catching, and I'm going to be doing a build with crit ray and electro damage and stuff like that, and we'll see how it works out, because I'm going to be doing a video on it, so make sure you guys check it out. But yeah, as I was saying before, the weapon that you choose will strictly be based on what you have in your account. No weapon is a bad choice. I think that all the weapons are really, really good. The choice is going to depend on who you want to be your main slapper. I think that's going to do it for today's video. I hope that you guys find this video helpful. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Also consider clicking that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.